2, 3.
Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of our video game book club. This is Preston's pick, Wolfenstein 2. No subtitle.
There
is there a
is.
subtitle? New
Definitely
Colossus.
subtitle. There we go.
New Colossus. I got it. Piss off, Ghost.
I was like, Alex, I definitely played this game.
Yep, that's right. I don't get to see
anyway.
that name often.
It is Preston's book club, so I'm going to turn it over here, and Preston is going to take us through a verbatim version of the opening chapter, so I can't wait to see.
I agree.
This. So Preston, tell us.
I heard there will be accents he'll be doing, everything.
Tell us, Preston, how does this game start and what happens?
Oh, guys, 5 years was a good run. Let's go. All right. Yes, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. Which came out in 2017. This is 3 years after the first one, as far as the one they made, and 2 years after the Old Blood, which was a DLC that turned into its own little side game. And yeah, this pretty much picks right up after that. So let's get into it. Part 1. I don't know why I gave it Part 1, because I didn't have chapters. The game will start with a recap of the New Order, which is skippable, but for those who need it, it's there. We actually start off where we left in New Order in 1961 in the Baltic coast with Deathhead's compound. Pretty much right there where he's lying after he told them to fire. Anya and the others are back. They're looking around for BJ as he's laying there on the ground. And we fade to a flashback to 1919. So that would make BJ close, like almost 50 years old.
Oh, yes, something like
41, that. 41 years old. Okay, 41 years old at this point. But yes, we go back to 1919 with BJ and his mother. She looks a little beaten up. She's got a little shiner and talks about how his dad hurt BJ. She offers us some porridge or soup. And this is where we go to a flashback where we get to choose again to save Wyatt or Fergus. So this gives us our definition timeline. So they don't have to pull memory or anything like that. Even if you didn't play the first one, you still get to make your decision. I'm assuming everyone stuck with what you had?
I did. Yes. Does this affect... I guess this affects what you do going forward, huh?
Affects the special weapon you get at a certain point, too. So it's...
Yep.
Yeah, and there's...
I think the same.
Pretty large dialogue differences in certain parts of the game, which is pretty cool. Because I chose Wyatt because that's what I chose last time. But the recap I'm watching, as far as like the playthrough, so I can do my notes, they chose Fergus. So I get to see both of those, which is really nice.
I actually appreciated this because a lot of times that we've talked about this in the past, games have the problem of saying like, hey, like Metro did this, right? Mm-hmm. Thanks for your decision, but like this is canon. And they didn't do that. They were just like, oh, whatever you chose back then, like they didn't say we don't have a way. Yeah. We don't have a way to continue your save forward, but like just pick what you picked. And
we only give you one decision, so go ahead and just make that decision again.
Yeah.
So you make the decision. It's the same like little cutscene from the original. Back to Anya and the group finding us. And just by the way, we're going to be doing flashback back to real and then back to 1919 for a little bit here. Most of the time I put flash, but sometimes I don't. So back to Anya and the group finding us and getting us to the helicopter before Caroline gives the go to blow the compound. So essentially find us. They grab us. They notice we're bleeding out. So they need to get us back to the base successor U-boat right away. And as we're leaving, Carolyn gives the order to fire. So I'm assuming that Carolyn or someone else was like, no, BJ's not here yet. Don't fire after he said to fire. And held back until they found us. So he didn't die, obviously. BJ has some monologue here about his friends. He does a lot of monologuing. I felt more than the first game because there's a lot of like what's going on in his head here. I'm not quoting everything here. There's a lot of stuff. I will mention some things that he talks about just because they fit in with the story and what goes on there. But there's a lot of really great writing and monologue with what he does. But yeah, just mentioning his friends.
I thought he was pretty chirpy in the first game.
I feel chirpy as in like maybe commenting on things, but like less like inner turmoil, I felt, but hey, it's been a hot minute.
No, I think they definitely step it up in this one for sure.
Yeah, more dealing with his mental state type of deal for sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
BJ has some monologue here about his friends. Yep, and then we go right back to 1919 when we fade out, I guess, from blood loss. His mom is there, same bed, gives him the family engagement ring. Has been passed down to generations. Tells us to hide it from your father. You know how he is. And Dad comes home, and it cuts to like this like weird dark alley with a twisting camera. Father talking about how hard it is to be him, and it just kind of cuts with a gunshot. We wake back up. We get to see Set trying to save us, put us back together, like really bad, like losing your small intestines level of bad. And you can see Anya in the background getting blood drained, and they even call for more blood. So we're losing a hell of a lot about blood.
I would say the intestine was a bit much.
Yeah, they do show it. And he's like, I love the sets too. Like he's not gonna have any small intestine left by the time we're done here.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck it, take it out. There's nothing you can do about it. Like
it's gonna save him. Just rip it out.
Also, he's like BJ's like fading in and out. But could you imagine fading in and then just seeing just like everything spiraling out, and you're just like, well, never mind, I'm back out.
Well, yeah, and you don't. I'm sure in there where they are and in this alternate timeline, you're not loaded up with anesthesia.
Oh
either,
no,
right?
No.
Like you're just
getting it done.
Yep, you're just raw dogging that, man. Yep.
All right, flashing back to 1919, where Mother is trying to hide BJ in a closet from the father. The dad is pissed because he caught his son being sweet with a little black girl, and rambles on about how it's going to ruin his business because his son is a black lover.
What's he say?
He doesn't say black lover, but I will not be repeating it unless you want to. You want to tell people what he said?
No, it was a hard R.
It's a hard
twice,
Southern
like,
R, yes.
Yeah, and like we're playing this game, and I know we're doing Nazis, and this is all before the war and stuff. But I'll be honest, like this all happens pretty quickly in the beginning of the game, and it happened like twice. I was like, damn. Like I was not ready for that. Like out of all the stuff I was ready for,
all
like
these
I was
flashes
not
very
ready
quick to kind of give you that background, and it's like, oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So I know I'm the only one who's played this game, but I remember when I got this game and I was playing the intro, and I remember we was in St. Louis still, but I remember sitting there and I was like, when the whole thing started happening, I was like, damn. So you all are just go okay. Yep. Fair enough.
Just trying to make it real.
Yeah, I had the same thought, and I was like, "This is weird." But I actually hadn't thought about this until now. In hindsight, it makes sense because we talked about this in the first game. How we really appreciated that bit of dialogue where the one guy that played the guitar was like,
yes,
we're fighting the Nazis, but back home, like, you guys are the Nazis, this and the other. Jimmy, so, like, yeah. I just thought about this as we're sitting here talking about it, but, like, in hindsight, it's good because it's a tie back to that, showing that, like, it wasn't great in America. This America you're fighting for, right? That we're now back in America in this game. We'll find out soon, but, like, what you're fighting for was not all roses and sunshine the first time. So
it got even worse. Bad. Yeah, like I said, we'll get there. All right, so Mom also gives him some shit after talks about how it's going to ruin his business. Gives him some shit about ruining the business himself. How he took all that money from her father, and he should have sold the business in the first place. Obviously, that pisses off Dad.
She said, should have sold the business like my dad told you to forever ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't. Did he say what his business was? Do we know?
No.
Just he has a business.
No, I think he's just I think the implication is that it's just like a general store or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Dad doesn't like that. Obviously, talks some shit again, saying again like you don't suffer like I do. Then he becomes an ultra violent piece of shit. He hurts your mom. The dog rushes out of the closet. He hurts the dog, which pissed Alex off a whole bunch. And now we control the kid, throwing a bunch of vases until he ends up grabbing us, telling BJ he's weak and ends up choking us out. As we fade to black, or as we go back and see Carolyn and Anya at our bedsides urging us to hold on. And then we're right back into 1919 where our dad is dragging us by the hand into what looks like a shed. He ties our hands to like a little bench and then ties the dog to the side of the wall, which as soon as that happened, started being not happy. He wants us to shoot the dog, but we resist. Now, as Alex found out, he didn't shoot at all, but they will probably just make you do that anyways. I shoot off to the side just to make sure I didn't hit the dog. The recoil will then push you back to the ground. Dad again calls you weak and says he'll do it himself. And with a flash, we go right into another little bit of flash forward with Mom telling us it will end better than it began. And I'm going to stop here because I know Alex has some words.
I do. I aimed away from the dog as far as you could do, which is just like slightly off its haunch. And I just sat there, and he's like, "Do it, coward, you baby," and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, look at the video game, like, no. Like, fuck you. And it's like, do it, blah. And eventually he'll just shoot, and like, I missed it because like I shot off and it shot us backward. I'm not going to try and find out what happens if you are a psychopath and you just shoot it. But like,
I don't think that you can.
I mean,
I don't know.
It starts off with you aiming at him for sure, but like maybe it stops you with the trigger.
I think if you pull, I think if you pull the trigger, I think that BJ says no. I think the point is to move. Like I think it moves no matter what, and then he's like, "You suck. You're weak," and then he.
If anybody knows the answer to this for sure, if anybody's listening to this, they're like, "No, if you pull the trigger, it won't let you do it." I don't trust you because that means you were willing to shoot the dog.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, if you know the answer offhand, I don't trust you. Yeah, so this pissed me off. Because you guys know how I feel about violence towards animals in these games anyway. And, like, I don't like to play games where animals die, especially dogs die. So, like, this pissed me off. But
never mind. I was wrong. You just can.
Hate that.
I bet you your dialogue probably changes. I wonder if it changes anything about BJ throughout.
It probably just is still scarred, yeah,
don't care enough to check. But, so, like, this is a classic trope that happens in video games, and, like, movies. We need to stop it. It's cheating. We talked about this, I forget what game we played not long ago, but there was also, like, a dog death in it or something, and, like, it's the same thing, like, harming animals is a cheat code.
Is it Neva?
To buy empathy. Yeah. No, it wasn't Neva. Maybe... It could have been something else. But like, it's a cheat code to buying empathy. And in a game like this, you're entering this game where it's like, I see Nazi, kill Nazi, right? That's fine. We know the role. And we know that BJ, like, if there's trauma, punching your mom, like, beating the shit out of your mom, and, like, the dog kick was okay. I'll give, because it wasn't, they didn't make a weird noise.
It's not as bad, yeah.
It's not okay, but it wasn't animated in a super realistic way, and they didn't add any, like, sound to it. So, like, you can disassociate from that one. So, like, you could have done that to show he was a dick. And, like, honestly, you didn't have to do that. In the scene before it, when the dad got home, the dog curled its tail and peed on the floor, which was enough for me.
Yeah.
So, you didn't... All developers out there, you don't need to go that far. It is really easy to build a bad character based off a story that people don't like. You don't need to be like, oh, and the little dog, too. It's just unnecessary, and I find it cheating, and I find it cheap, and to me, it shows bad writing when this game is not written poorly. Like, this game is a well-written game, and they have, like, tiebacks and everything else. So, like, it's just not fucking needed. So, like, hashtag, I'll start this campaign. I actually think one exists. But it's like, the people are like, you can pet the dog. Like, stop killing fucking dogs and animals in video games. You don't need it.
I think their argument would be that they're like, this whole game, this whole series so far, we've made it a point to show you how far we're willing to go on some things, and in this game,
people are willing to go.
And in this game, they are going to go even farther. Like but
it's just you know, as a society, right? As an American society is actually very unique when it comes to the way we treat our animals. I mean, people treat them like kids more than they treat them like animals, right? Like that has its own problems, but like. We as a society are very different than a lot. You know it's going to emotionally affect people in a way, which is why you did it. Mm-hmm. And like, I know you're going to go far. I've seen you go far. When you stealth kill a Nazi in this game, you chop their legs, like it's brutal. And it was brutal in the first game. So like, you don't need to do a shock factor. I know what I've signed up for when I play for this. So there are just some things, and again, I will die on this hill for any game, right? like you don't need that bit. It's just unnecessary.
I think
It's
for
unnecessary.
in this particular instance, I think that no one up until that moment there wasn't anybody who was like, man, BJ's dad is like no one was confused about what he is, right? Like yeah,
Yes.
it was very easy to be like, yeah, dude, this dude sucks, right? He's a very bad person. I do think the only piece of grace that I will give the developers that I think for the time period, especially with how in the South around that time and a lot out west too, there was a very strong sentiment about any form of life that wasn't a white person, right, being just a form of utility. And so, and his dad does exactly that, right? Like he's like, you know, he even before this, he's like, I'm going to make it a point to, you know, if you don't start doing this, then life is going to do this to you, blah, blah, blah. And I might not be able to, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do this, but I'll show you how to take it at the very least. And, you know, does that thing. And he, you know, just doesn't, I think that in that time period, I think that it's something that not only happened probably for my taste, obviously way too often, but I think that in that time period, it would have been way more common to have somebody go out and just being like, I'm tired of whatever is happening, so I'm putting this animal down, whatever it is, dog, cat, cow, horse, whatever the fuck. And so I'm sure that's, you know, and obviously they're going for a shock factor and they're trying to drive that point home.
Emotionally.
Yeah. But I think, most of the...
But it's not...
like,
I think you're spot on, but it's not it's an alternate history game, and it's not a slice of life game showing us how bad time back then was. We know. It's a game about Nazis that took over. Like, we know.
Now,
so you don't need it.
This is what I would say. I think that there was an opportunity to do something here that they missed. Because you can, like Alex was saying, you can aim off to the left just above one of the legs or whatever, like on the backside, and shoot that way and then do that. There's another place that you can aim.
I wanted to aim at him so bad. I want to aim at him so bad.
No, yeah, that would have been cool too, but you can't do that. I understand why. But no, because if as soon as it would have turned, he'd have been like, no, that's not happening. Yeah. But you can aim actually at the rope that the dog is attached to. Now here's this is my opinion. This is how I would have done this scene if it needed to be done. Mm-hmm. If you shoot the rope, the dog runs out immediately, like scrambles, gets the fuck out, and then the dad beats the shit out of you more, whatever. Maybe you take a permanent, something happens, right? Whatever that is. If you are a psychopath that shoots the dog, you are given something happen that immediately like signals on your PlayStation profile, your Xbox profile, your Steam profile, whatever it is.
I think it breaks your shit. It breaks your shit. It just logs you out and says, sorry, you've lost the game. You've lost the game of society. Your shit's
becomes like the modern version, like the gaming version of like the Scarlet Letter, and it's just like immediately put on something.
Yes.
And you are just like, that's it. And then everyone's like, oh, I never even knew that you could shoot the dog. I had no idea. How did you? And then you look at the person's profile and you go, oh, you're that person.
That's a campaign platform I would vote on. Let's do that. Let's mark every dog. Let's mark every animal killer in video games as that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's do that. It's a fair way to do it.
We need to know because we walk around every day with these people.
Yes. True. True. These criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Right. That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah. I get some.
Yeah, that's good. Both of those are good. Shooting the rope and running out.
Shooting the rope would have been a great one. I think that would have been the better pet. All right, moving on. We cut back to us in the bed with sirens going off. This is back in the bed of the U-boat. BJ gets out and barely recognizes himself in the mirror, all scarred up. BJ ends up falling and crawls into a wheelchair. We see a crew member at our door trying to fight off some Nazis. He says they're here for us and gives us a gun before he gets smoked. Here, we wheel ourselves around doing what we do best, taking out Nazis, but in a wheelchair, while looking for Anya and the crew. We come across a hallway that zaps some Nazis into bloody explosions. After that happens, we hear Set, and he turns off the, whatever it is, electrical trap, and we go inside the room to meet him. He's very grateful to see us awake, and we immediately ask, where is Anya? He reluctantly tells us and warns us we should not go. We are still very weak and beat up and healing.
Now, you're skipping one important piece of dialogue here about when he tells us how bad we're beat up. Is that he goes, he does not even know if our schmeckle will still work.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You don't say that.
I forgot about that one.
Incredible line.
It's very good. He tells us Frau Engel has been hunting us and has now found us. I also mentioned here that while he is telling all of this, the Nazis continue to pour in right through the electrical trap. So as he's talking, they're just getting zapped. One even at the very end tries to tiptoe. So he gets really close and he's like, and zap. I thought that was
It was that whole trap was incredible.
The animators had so much fun with that section. Like, yeah, go ahead, let Set talk. We're gonna have fun with these Nazis getting zapped to pieces over here, and they had a very good time with that. I know that for sure. So, like I always said, he doesn't want us to go, but Anya. He tells us that Anya is at the sail platform, and that he has more traps on the way to there that he hasn't activated yet, so we can use those as well. So again, rolling around. We got more Nazi killing to do. So as we make our way through, now with Set's traps to help us, there are some ramps here and there, and even sometimes requiring us to use moving parts of the U-boat to get to upper levels. The first one that wasn't just a ramp, that was like a cylinder or something, a wheel that we would take up. It took me so long to figure out that's what they wanted me to do. Like looking like, where, did I miss a door? Did I miss like an elevator or something like that? And they're like, I bet you they want me to go. These platforms are very large on this wheel or cog or whatever. Like, I bet you I got up there. I'm like, okay. But it took me way too long. So we finally get to the elevator, and a Nazi ends up jumping us. Sits there, he's trying to choke us out, and right before we black out, Anya rescues us. So we have a little bit of a heart-to-heart reunion. Finds out that she is having twins. And we end up taking the elevator up with Set and Anya to the deck to see that Frau has this huge airship that has clamps on the U-boat, keeping us from submerging. Haas and Bombate are there holding off some Nazis, while Caroline is down the ground being a badass and taking out Nazis in the Dait Yeshud suit. Until one of the big armored Nazis bops her on the head, and she falls on top of either Wyatt or Ferguson.
Dude, this wasn't funny, and it wasn't meant to be funny, and she was a total badass in this scene. Mm-hmm. But she turns around at one point and gets caught off guard, and that dude literally just bonks her on the head.
Dude.
And she goes like stiff like a tree, and it just falls over.
He didn't swing, he didn't do anything. It was a straight hammer drop. Yeah.
I'm serious. Somebody could have put in like the old timey like bonk. Like somebody could have definitely done that sound effect on there.
That's what it was. I laughed at that, and it's not allowed to be matter here in a second, but like. It was just so funny the way it just bonks her. And the helmet immediately just like retracts and she just falls back. Yeah.
So from here, Frau comes out and we meet her daughter, Sigrun. Frau talks a lot of shit to her about her weight and, going to like a medical facility for it and everything like that. I'm not going to go into that too much. She was very rude and mean. And gets on the megaphone to call us out. She knows we're there and tells us to surrender, and she will spare everyone. So, of course, BJ looks around. He's like, I gotta go. So we go down, and we roll ourselves up there and turn ourselves in. A couple of Nazis make fun of us because we're in the wheelchair. Because we need to find a way to save them.
And hilarious. It's hilarious they're talking shit, too, because, like, I just murdered, like, 75 of these dudes in this wheelchair.
To be fair, they don't know that, but yeah.
So, like, That's fair.
So yeah, we need to go in there to save them for sure, but we also need to find a way to release the clamps if everyone's going to be saved. So we go up, we pull up, they escort us in. They end up carrying us up to the Osmercer. It's Ingel's flying fortress. They knock Carolyn out of the suit and throw her to the ground. Ingel talks some more shit to us, talking about being the crippled hero pissing in a tube and how she's going to broadcast it on international television to kind of like demoralize the resistance or people who are willing to rise up. Because if the big hero that everyone looks up to is dead, then yeah, they're gonna be a little disheartened. So she gets ready to chop Carolyn's head off with a hatchet, but Sigrun stops her, reminding her she said that she would spare them. Frau does not give a shit, and tries to get Sigrun to do it herself, but she cannot. Engel ends up just going ahead, taking the hatchet from her, and chopping off Carolyn's head. So she ends up picking up the head and toys with it in a very twisted and demented way, making jokes to us, making jokes to her daughter about this, and just being super fucked up psycho bitch about it.
So I want to say before this, or during this, or like this whole scene, after she gets knocked out, Caroline on the boat, she gets knocked out 2 more times before Frau finally cuts her head off. And all I can think of the entire time is that every single time she comes back to, she must be like, I swear to God, if another person knocks me out, they just blank right again. It's just like, damn, dude. Yeah.
I just let it end at a certain point.
They did such a balancing act in this part, right? Like when they're talking to Sigrun, when she's talking to her daughter, and she's like, "You said you would let him go," and she's like, "Yeah, well, you said you would lay off the sugar and the donuts and
the chocolates and the bonbons."
And it's fucked up, but it's funny because like it's in the accent and like you feel for the daughter, but like it is a little bit of levity that they're trying to balance here because like evil Nazi and daughter, so like
much evil.
So they're balancing. They're doing this like really good balancing act. Again, good writers on this game. And then they just like you feel for Carol, and they chop her head off, and then you're just like smacked in the face. You're like, holy shit!
Yeah,
like
the leader of the resistance.
I know. Wow. She's like kiss, and like pushing him. Yeah, dude, it's fucked up.
And it's just it's funny to talk about writing in a boomer shooter, but like this team is really good.
Incredible.
About like literally balancing all these emotions in one scene to be like shocking. Minus the dog, fuck you. But like shocking and like anger inducing and also a little goofy. It's crazy. It was well done.
They do an incredible job. So yeah, Ingel takes it too far, even with Sigrun, and as she is about to kill either Wyatt or Ferguson, Sigrun tries to stop her. This causes her to miss them, but a little piece gets taken off of either one. So for Fergus, he gets his arm cut off. With Wyatt, he gets his ear chopped off and scarring his face as well. So he gets more of a face hit, while Fergus gets his entire arm chopped off. So Wyatt or Fergus ends up grabbing a gun at this point, takes out the 2 other soldiers, and tosses us the armor. But Ingel escapes with their Uber soldier as we get the armor on. Sigrun is still down there. She says she can help us and give us some Nazi secrets. She says the escape pods are right over there in this room, and we will need to release the clamps. To release the clamps, she tells us we need to go to the control deck. So we are obviously going to head our way to the control deck. Sigrun opens up a door for us, tells us which way to head, and we start moving. So now we have the suit on. The suit gives us 200 armor, and at this point, when we are walking, and throughout the entire, so far, at least this part, he is constantly talking to Caroline. So whether it's like, hey, let me use your wings for a little bit longer, can you please stick around until I finish this kind of deal? Like he's really struggling with losing Caroline, and it's fucking with him.
You get this suit gives you like super speed too, it seems like. The dash is
definitely
like
a lot faster, and you get a ground pound. So if you're in the air, you can do the ground pound, which opens up some vents in the ground, or you can just open up a Nazi if you want as well, which is a lot of fun. So yes, we can do the slam ground pound. We also find a hatchet to replace what we used to use for knives. So we use it for the stealth kills. If you get more than one of them, you can start throwing them. And when he picks it up, he says, a lot of things you can do with a hatchet. And a Nazi, which I like to quote. We crawl through the vents, again, popping out, killing more Nazis. Going forward, BJ has a lot of inner monologue, like I mentioned earlier, talking to Carolyn through his playthrough. We get the commander signals again, so that gameplay loop is back. I do like the format of the UI for this too. So it's pretty much the same thing. They kind of show you like the steps distance to get to the next commander. A little bit of an idea of which direction they're in as well. And it's the same loop again. If you get caught, they'll stun the sirens, and you just need to find them. And it's, I think it's the same in the last game, but if the sirens go off, it makes it harder to find them as well, because the directional on that little circle gets kind of discombobulated, and you can't really tell as much. When you're running towards them, you can see if the number goes up or down. That's pretty much all you get at that point. From here, we also get some more weapons. So we get some grenades. I think we get some type of like a assault rifle, and we fight our way to get to the control deck. And release the magnet clamps, releasing the U-boat in an incredible cutscene. I want to pause on that just for a hot second so I can have the cutscene shown here. But yeah, the cutscene that they have of this giant fortress, the giant U-boat, the clamps popping off of it, and it's slamming back into the water. Fucking, like I said, animators are having a real good time and they're doing a fantastic job. So after we leave the control camps, we go back to the hangar, and on the way we fight our first Uber soldier. Now, with these guys, you can't just, berate them. You have to get the tanks behind them, let them blow up. And then we get the big laser gun. It's pretty much like the laser craft work that we had in the first one. It melts openings, covers, and Nazis. So
I actually learned in this playthrough, because we do encounter so many of these, you can shoot their arms off one by one. And then they're just kind of stuck there with like little electric arms that can't do
just
anything.
Like an assault rifle?
And then you could kill. Yeah, so if you have enough shots and you don't get their tank, you can just shoot their arms off, which is pretty funny.
I like that. Okay. New strat.
Yeah.
Coming in part 2. All right. So once we get... Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we got the laser craft work. It melts openings, covers, and Nazis. We have a lot of fun going through there. There's like little stations on like the side of the wall. Or you can just do what I did and just kind of pick up ammo from the big Uber soldiers that you kill along the way. Once we're back at the hangar, we take the escape pod and grab Carolyn's body as well. We drop out, which luckily the escape pods are also little underwater submarine type of deals, little aquatic guys. We end up docking at the U-boat, and have a sad scene of us bringing Carolyn through the sub. So it's a very slow walk. He's got her body with Sand's head, and it's just a slow walk of everybody realizing what's happening, being very sad about it. We end up cutting to set, fixing either Wyatt or Fergus. Fergus gets a mechanical arm, and Wyatt just gets kind of patched up. So as they're working on Wyatt or Fergus, we go and talk. They talk. Wyatt or Fergus talks about Carolyn's plan, which her plan was to essentially liberate the U.S. to kickstart the revolution and take back the world, and use it as a stepping stone, like I said, to free the world. They say we gotta find the resistance cell in New York. Carolyn had contacts with. So, of course, as soon as they end up talking about that, sirens go off again. Frau has found us. So we're all wondering how she's found us already this fast. And Sigrun chimes in. She says that Engel has been getting messages from inside the U-boat. Now, my first thought is, you got a spy, or like, undercover, mole. That's not the case. Set's like, Section F. And everyone's like, Section F? But the Section F was, a mistake on the blueprint. He's like, well, maybe not. So they go back to the blueprints. They go to find out where you would have the entrance to the Section F, and it's right behind some lockers. So they move the lockers out of the way. And here, you get your next weapon. So depending on who you chose, Fergus or Wyatt, you get a different weapon.
Oh.
So Fergus gives us the laser craft work, which we recognize from the first game. Wyatt will give you the laser Gewer, Gewehr. The laser Gewer. So the laser craft work, we know what that is, right? It's a big laser gun. You charge up the stations. Laser Gewer is like a grenade launcher, but it shoots remote mines. Now, this does not use like the laser fuel. This uses like diesel or gasoline fuel. So, and anytime you see one of your stations, there is another station, usually on the opposite side of the room, that you can go to get that. I was a little bit upset at first because I walked into this with no ammo for that. And I'm going up to the station that looks like a charge station that's not letting me charge. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm like, running around like I can't do anything. There's a little hole here. I gotta shoot it with this gun, but I have no ammo. And I thought I fucked up and like didn't have enough ammo at the last part, or if I should have brought something with me. I'm like, fuck. Looked it up. Yep, there's a whole different station that you can charge depending on which gun you have on the opposite side of the wall. So
that makes sense because every time we go into an area and you see like the gasoline one, I'd see the electric one over there and I'd be like, maybe I can come back. Maybe I'll get this gun later. So that makes a lot of sense. I had no idea why there was always the same, like the two.
I think it's very cool. Like you get two different weapons for two different timelines, which would give you more of a reason to want to play through maybe the other one if you get it. So, I mean, I played the first one. I don't need to go back and play this game with the laser craft work, but I think it's very cool, and I did enjoy that Wyatt gave me that different gun. So it is very cool. Yeah, you essentially shoot sticky remote mines, and you get to detonate them with the left trigger. And then there are different, we'll talk upgrades here in a bit, but you can like charge it up, shoot a whole bunch, shoot a flame out of it. There's a handful of
You can hold left trigger, right, and it does the thing. I love this gun because, to your point, we encounter so many of the Uber soldiers. My favorite thing is to pop out and just go like, pop, 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 3 grenades, and then bounce back and just
1,000%. Yep, I'm like, okay, now you guys are super easy. I don't have to get the backs or anything. That's great. That's great. All right, so after we get that new weapon from them, we make our way through, and Anya tells us the Nazis here have been here since we took the U-boat 5 months ago. So someone could be starving, but there might also be nukes in here, so we gotta be careful. The section stretches across the bottom of the entire sub, because of course it does. And now we go through doing what we do best, killing some Nazis. So as we make our way through, we end up reaching the radio, stop the signal, and make our way all the way back. Once we're back, this is where we have Caroline's funeral. So a bunch more of the inner monologue about great leaders and stuff like that with BJ. Very sad kind of deal. They end up putting her in one of the like torpedoes, like empty torpedoes, decorated and everything for her, and end up launching her out to sea. So once we finish with this, and BJ gives some sweet words of the inner monologue, Anya tells us that we need to go to set to get checked up on. So here we meet Shoshana, who is the body of a spider monkey and the head of a cat that Set grew fond of when we got the U-boat, who was dying of bowel cancer. So I looked for like all the things in Set's lab beforehand, and I did see the note about, transferring a head to a different body and how it wasn't working out. So he even says, because obviously BJ's freaking the fuck out on it because it jumps at him a little bit. And he's like, no, that's my pet. It's probably one of my favorite things in the world, not to mention probably one of my greatest accomplishments ever, because he did the transplant. So he ends up checking on us and has an errand for us to do as well, of course. Set has made a firing range in the U-boat, but there was a little issue when he was tinkering with one of those German drones he was working on, and it went haywire. So he asked us to go down there to take it out. Apparently no one else can take out a drone in this ship. So we go down there and chase it around the range. I mentioned that this is probably so far the worst enemy I hate out of all of the Wolfensteins because they're really hard to get a beat on. You can't really focus fire on them very easily. Maybe I'd have a little bit better time if I went keyboard mouse, but I didn't. I'm on the controller, so I miss an awful lot of shots and waste an awful lot of ammo on these guys.
Same.
So, not a big fan, but they're there nonetheless.
Question about Set's pet. There was a cat that was dying of bowel cancer, and do we know, was there anything wrong with the spider monkey?
He was chewing on ammo or something.
Yeah, he broke something, and so they were like, the punishment's death.
He wasn't sick. He probably had radiation poisoning, I'm sure, but he wasn't dying, I don't think so.
Okay.
But he wanted to save his cat, and he's like, I got this monkey over here. I just put the fucking my pet cat head on the monkey. And
on the tier list, cat's above monkey anyway, so unfortunately.
I mean, that's fair. I just, when you're like,
chalk that one up to the game, unfortunately. There's nothing you can do about it. You should have been born something else.
Yeah.
All right.
So, once we take out the drone, we can now try the shooting range. There's a little trophy here. If you get the highest score on it, I saw that Christian got it. I didn't check you, Alex. I did not get it. I only played it once.
I didn't even start it. I just jumped over the barrier and chased the thing down. I didn't even start the shooting range.
Yeah, so when you get back, there's a little button there that kind of glows up, and it's like, you can try it if you want. And essentially what happens is like these little cardboard cutouts of like Nazis like just go back and forth left and right, just like in a normal shooting range. You shoot them, there's a little scoreboard up top, and I guess, I'm assuming, Christian, you hit every single one, which I'm assuming is the high score at that point. I think I missed like one or two in the back row, so I'm like, I'm good on that. I get the idea of the shooting range.
Interesting.
So after the shooting range, we go back to Anya to talk about the New York resistance cell. From here, she asked us to go check in on Fergus or Wyatt. I don't know. I can't remember Fergus' name right there. I go back to talk to Fergus or Wyatt. So here we also have two different beats of story. So as we know with Wyatt, he is having an issue with like ringing in his ear. He's looking for the headphones. He can't find the headphones. He's kind of freaking out, getting pissed off about it. So he's going through. He has a box of like Jimmy's things, and he's going through there and trying to find the headphones. He ends up finding the headphones, but you can tell he's having a rough go of it. With Fergus, he's having issues with controlling his arm. Talks about how he wakes up in the middle of the night with his arm just beating the hell out of him. Because when BJ goes up there, he's like, "Hey man, are you all right? You look like you're like bruised and bloodied and shit like that." He's like, "Yep." He's like, "The arm is not, like melding with me very well." So he's like, wake up in the middle of fucking night, arm goes haywire, starts beating the hell out of me. So he's not a big fan of the arm, and it kind of does some things here and there on its own. So he's struggling as well. But yeah, that's kind of the two differences you'll get when you go back to talk to them, which I think is nice little changes here and there.
Yeah,
I like how one currently has some PTSD and the other just has a phantom arm that's just beating the shit out of him.
There's a lot of funny things they do with that phantom arm later on too. I think out of both of them, like I think I mentioned this last time, but Fergus has some of the best lines, and the voice actor is doing such a great job. I kind of wish. I went with Fergus, but like I made my choice. I know I chose Wyatt, but like man, we're missing out some really good dialogue with Fergus there.
There is things that happen later in the game that are specific to Wyatt.
Yeah.
That if you don't see, you are going to be mad.
Okay.
I promise.
Wyatt's the good one then. All right. Yeah. I mean, both of them are great, but yeah. All right. Continuing on from here, we go over the plan with everyone. So we do the usual from the first one, which I missed from the Old Blood, which is everyone's around a table. You get that fucking, Quentin Tarantino-esque, like Snatch-esque, like Guy Ritchie music in the background.
It's Snatch music, and it fucking slaps.
It's so fucking good. So,
Mm-hmm.
We get a little bit
what
of that.
A great movie. I don't know if like there's any like cinema people that fucking hate it or whatever, but dude, Snatch fucking what a movie.
Those early Guy Ritchie movies are 10 out of 10s for sure.
Yeah.
So we go over the plan with everybody, get the cool montage. They're telling us that we need to drop in and make our way to the state building where the contact is for the resistance should be now. Only, of course, BJ can go in because due to all the radiation levels, because as we mentioned beforehand, Nazis nuked New York. And all the radiation levels are sky high, so we have the nice suit that'll keep us from that. And, of course, we can't drop in right at the resistance cell because it's in the state building, which, of course, has Nazis all over it. So Bombate drives us in the little escape pod to drop us off the location, jokingly warning us about the underground crocodiles in New York that he's heard about. And I get a little funny quip from BJ. He's like, "Oh, yeah, good crocodiles." And BJ is like, "Don't know, from Texas," and just closes his helmet right back up. I'm like, fuck, God, that's good writing. We get out and make our way through the sewers. Now, a lot happening here. You got some. I don't think we have any enemies in here either. We just kind of go through the sewers. As we emerge, we end up seeing the leveled New York, which is beautifully done, in a bad way, but very beautiful. Here, we get two different types of dialogue. So it's going to be Wyatt or Fergus. Fergus comes over the comms and kind of just lets us know where to go. Nothing really changes there. But with Wyatt, Wyatt does the same, but he's having a hard time speaking. He's obviously got some head trauma going on there. Maybe some brain bruises. So you're kind of starting to see a little bit of that. What's up?
Nope. That's not what it is at all.
No brain bruises?
I think you have unfortunately missed one of the best parts of this thing here is that Wyatt, while waiting to talk to BJ before they kick the plan off before he goes over to New York.
With the sheets?
Yeah, he takes military grade LSD.
Okay, yes. So in my head, I thought that happened a little bit later. So, okay.
He
My bad.
is looking at the stamps
No head
and he's
trauma.
like,
Yes.
So then when he goes
is-
and he's like,
he's getting the
that's
effects
him
of
high as
acid
fuck.
as he is talking to us. Yes, thank you. Okay, appreciate that correction. I just thought it was him being brain damaged. And like,
to be fair, Preston, I think that was easy to miss because when he was going at the stamp, I wasn't paying attention to what it was. I was like, oh, it's
I
stamps.
saw him
and
lick
he-
it,
like,
and it was Jimmy's box.
Right.
I knew what it was, but like I didn't
It
think
was-
that was him starting to slowly trip as he was on the comic with us. But okay, that makes a lot more sense.
I
now.
realized when he started doing the voice thing, I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Because there's a moment actually during this when he kicks off the New York thing where somebody says something and he is like, yeah, and he goes to respond and he's like, and like his head turns and he falls off somewhere and everyone's like, you know, it's like, oh, it's just little foreshadowing they do here. But yeah, when he's sitting there and he's like, or like falls, that's
Okay, that's what's happening. Okay, fair enough.
Yep.
All right, so here we fight through some rad suited Nazis, radiation, not very cool, but radiation suited Nazis, and drones. Yay. I put here that the level design here is fucking incredible. Going through like the dilapidated buildings, like the street parts that are fucking caved in, and where you can kind of choose which way to go. Man, the design in this area is incredible.
Dude, the outfits that like the commanders are wearing, which are like the hazmat suits underneath the big black coats and stuff, like they're bright yellows. Like nice touch. It was just well done.
Very well done. So after taking out Nazis in the buildings, we enter the subway, taking out some more Nazis. This time with dogs. I wanted to say dogs and saw Nazis. But Nazi dogs.
Dotsies.
Yeah, like Dachshunds. Like Dachshunds. Dachshunds, you know, German dogs, you know. They're Nazi dogs, so these are Dotsies. In one spot, we even get attacked by a crocodile going through the subway. Well, not there, so that was fun.
BJ makes a comment too. He's like, "Oh damn, Bombay was right."
Yeah, it's like she listened to Bombay.
I did not get that because I went into a subway a different way and didn't go in the way you're supposed to. So when I hit down, it's like enter subway and it showed where it was. I found a subway entrance somewhere else and jumped over a barrier and it progressed me on. I never saw the crocodile.
Okay. All right. So there's one down there, and it tries to go after you.
Okay.
And it does the cool thing I like about this game to where it's like anytime like you get hit with something big or something explosive like nears you, you fall back. And you get a little bit to control your gun if you need to, but also you do end up getting back up automatically. But like they do the same thing with the crocodile. He grabs your leg, you go, oh shit! And you have to shoot the crocodile a little bit while he's getting on your leg, and then you're good to go.
I missed the whole thing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
All right, so once we're at the end of the subway train, we move one to get out of the way, and then we move one to get closer to where we need to go. But the train won't stop. So the train barrels forward, popping out of the ground, launches out of the ground, and then launches us even further out of the train.
I love to see his body. He's just like, just like flying through the air.
He's like, woo! And he's like, just fight through the pain, fight through the pain. So we are now near the state building. So we make our way through, killing some more Nazis. But here we have the giant Nazi mech. You don't have to take it out, but you can if you want. As BJ gets to the end, they open a door to the state building and climb up the elevator shaft to the penthouse. Did you guys go after the mech, or did you avoid it?
I avoid it.
I fought it because I could not figure out where to go to get up there.
Gotcha.
And
same.
I was like, I can't. I'm lost, so I just fought it.
So yeah, you have like the penthouse.
I knew exactly.
If you're facing like where the penthouse is at, you have that like U shape around a building that you can kind of go up into, and that's where I kind of went up into the building, down around the other side, and I'm like, where I'm supposed to go? And I kind of walked around trying to skirt the edges, and then the motherfucker saw me, and it started shooting like boom, boom, boom. He's got like those little grenades, but then I just took him out with the laser Gerwer, whatever it's called. And I think I had like one of the other lasers as well from one of the big Uber guys.
Yeah.
So you can take him out. It's possible. Don't have to though. So as we crawl up the ladder to the penthouse elevator, at the top we are greeted by two people with guns. One of them is Jedi Master Seer, the voice acted by Deborah Wilson. Character here is named Grace. And her partner, Super Spesh, questioning if we are Nazis. So we go a little back and forth here. He's like, "Are you Nazi? Are you not Nazi?" And BJ's like, "No, dog, I am not a Nazi." He finally gets up and he's like, "Fuck this." He puts his helmet on so he doesn't get shot. And then we strongly persuade him by hanging him over the elevator that we are not Nazis. So we tell them that we are organizing a revolution and we are part of the Kreisau Circle. Now they recognize us. So
Kreisau,
I'm sorry. Yeah, Kreisau Circle. So now they do recognize us, and they know that we're BJ, the famous BJ. So they recognize us. Grace sits down with her baby and just kind of goes over, just kind of giving us the lay of the land. Lets us know that she's been there when the bomb hit and had some really fucked up stories, about a kid and a mom and like the melting that might happen when a nuclear armor goes off. So it's pretty fucked up and then serious story.
I don't quote me on this, but I think I remember reading somewhere that the stories she had are direct stories that were taken from Hiroshima survivors.
Yeah, seeing like the kid's arm being melted off and the mom trying to get to her, but she's also melting. Yeah.
I think that's a nod, like an actual reference there, I think.
Yeah, nukes are bad, so. All right, so. nukes are bad,
okay.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, so Special comes over and lets us know that the Nazis are on the way. He calls them the cops. And so we call in an evac. Tell the group to get to the roof for pickup while we hold off the Nazis here in the penthouse to buy them some time. Here we take out a bunch of waves of Nazis. And the drones, again, just gave me some fucking trouble. I'm having the hardest fucking time getting a couple shots on them. They're floating all around. And their lasers do some decent damage to your armor. So, go through the waves of enemies. The helicopter meets us outside the window. And we jump in. In the copter, BJ tries to convince Grace to help us with the resistance. From here, she says that America's pretty much given up. And that White America specifically has given up. And that the South and most of the South has been taken over by the KKK. BJ's like, you know what? You're probably right. But then BJ goes on with a little more of a speech about freedom and just fucking gets her pumped up. And she goes, she's like, goddamn right.
Well, so it's funny, too, because it's kind of this, it's like, she goes on a speech and like you can hear like the bald eagle screeching over while BJ's talking. He's like, "Look, all I know is you take freedom away from the American people, you're playing with fire." And she is like basically not having it at all. But then he basically is like, "Look, I'm in love with you. I'm dying. My wife don't know it yet, but I'm dying. And before I go, I'm gonna go fucking bananas." Yeah. That's what I know. And she's like, now that's the fucking plan that I can sign up for.
Yeah, she gets real riled up and isn't all of a sudden now super in. So, but that was a good little back and forth. So we get back to the U-boat. We show Grace around the ship. She sets up in Carolyn's old room, and the rest of the group finds a place in the sub. Grace asks us if we have warheads and has us grab one from Section F. Before we go to Section F, though, if you stuck around for a little bit, Spesh freaks the fuck out. He's like, "What the fuck is this? What is this?" And has a hilarious freak out about having seen a working toilet in forever. And it is very, very funny. I appreciate that little bit of humor. Very well done. Here, we of course go back to Section F, a little bit through a different route to look for the warhead. Here, we're taking out a bunch of Uber soldiers that have just been hanging out in Section F, stored away here. We find the warhead and bring it back to set, drop it off the warhead to set, and then back to Grace to let her know that we got the warhead taken care of. When we go up to Grace's door, we are greeted by Anya, who stops us. She feels like we've been avoiding her this entire time. Now, during the last few levels, BJ's inner voice has been going over how he feels he's going to die, leaving Anya alone to raise the kids, and he didn't want her, as it was his burden to bear, which I fucking hated it every time he said that. I'm like, bro, it's gonna be her burden when you die. So like, you may want to be like setting her up with this and like getting her ready for what's gonna happen. So of course he does tell Anya this right now, and she gets pretty upset because it sounds like he's giving up. She gets very upset with him. This gets interrupted by Spesh as he exits the bathroom and interrupts this very serious moment. Grace comes out as well from her room, and they have a nice little back and forth between the two of them. And she lets us know we need to get to the copter, or get to the helicopter, help Hess get it ready. Haas get it. Max Haas, yeah. Get it ready. So as she leaves, Anya tries again to be supportive, super supportive and sweet with BJ. B just gives it a cold shoulder. He's just not feeling it. He's very depressed about everything. He does not want to die and leave her alone with the kids, but tells her that he just needs to keep going as long as he can. And she walks off. We continue forward. We fill up the copter with whatever weapon you have. If you have whichever weapon it is, that's the fill up fuel you're going to need to fill up the helicopter with. And we head back to Grace to let her know it's ready. We gather the crew. Grace goes over the plan in that same very cool fashion. So here, Wyatt kind of not stumbles in, but just kind of shows up, and he's very happy. You know, he's having a good time. He sits down, gets ready to fucking go over the plan. With Fergus, Fergus and Grace, even like when she first shows up, have a little bit of headbutting here. She keeps calling him English or Irish just to fucking piss him off. He talks some shit as well, because I think he has a little bit of a problem with her like taking over like the role of the leader of the resistance after Caroline. And even at one point, like, he doesn't mean to, but the arm comes up, gives out the middle finger. He's like, I'm sorry, I just can't control this. And they have these back and forths, but Fergus always ends up being like, yeah, actually, you're right. It sounds like the way to be. Let's continue on. He doesn't fight her too much. Like, it's not like he's being stubborn about it. He's being very real. But yeah, the back and forth between Grace and Fergus were very, very well done. So, Grace goes over the plan. She has a target in mind. It's in Roswell. The area reminds Set that they have something there. Sigrun it goes like, oh, you have something there? And Grace kind of backfires at her, being like, yeah, we do. What the fuck do you care? And essentially is real mean to her because she was a Nazi, or was a Nazi at least. And Sigrun ends up running off. There we continue. Set mentions that they have Yashud has a big safe keep here with anti-gravity technology. We're gonna go there to bomb that Roswell base because the Oberkommando is there, which is where the top leaders of the Nazi are at, and we are there to do that, bomb that, and cripple the Nazi leadership. We will stop in Galveston and take a ride to Roswell to blow the nuke in the base. Next time on Wolfenstein New Colossus.
This game, we went to the moon.
We did.
And now we are going to Roswell, New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And what is Roswell known for other than fucking aliens? So this game is about to get wild.
Yeah, the more funny thing for me, I kept laughing. And Alex, Preston, you might not have seen this because it's a basketball thing, but anytime I hear the town Galveston talk about, all I can hear is Charles Barkley complaining about Galveston, Texas, and the dirty water that's there. It's so funny. So when they were talking about going to Galveston, all I just hear is Charles Barkley being like, "Fucking Galveston, the dirty ass water down there."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the end of part 1. While I look at the other chapters, you guys want to go over any thoughts, feelings?
Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
It was great. It's kicking off right where the others left off. I mean, we liked the first game. We liked the second game, or the DLC, even though it got a little wild with the zombies. But like, yeah, it's been great so far. So this one continues to be good. I'll be interested to see what they do with BJ. I have an idea shared with Christian. He did not give me an answer either way. But like, the little detail at one point in the cutscene, or maybe when you're playing, you look down, you actually see like the blood bag that he has attached to his leg, and like, so he's in bad shape, and the suit's keeping him alive. The inner monologue of like, I'm gonna die doing this to save the world and save Anya and not put this on her. Like, it's been great writing, but beyond, so I'm excited to see where it goes. Beyond that, though, the environments continue to be good. Correct. The gunplay feels great. The variety of guns they give you are fun, like always, and even the new melee weapons are super fun. The little bit of style, Preston, that you mentioned, like even the style to the UI of like the commanders.
It's more cleaned up.
It's more cleaned up, and it's like radio signals moving on, but like actual waveforms and stuff, all really well done. You can tell, and I could tell from the moment we made to the U-boat, they had so much more of a budget, because that U-boat is massive.
Well, just not to
There's
mention like the quality of like the faces and everything else. Like there's an upgrade there for sure. And I even forgot to mention, we didn't talk about weapon upgrades. So in that shooting range, you do get your first weapon upgrade, and I love how they let you choose. Like, which gun do you want to upgrade? Which part do you want to upgrade? Of course, I picked the silencer immediately. And I didn't notice that the SMG had a silencer. I'm like, fuck, I would have loved to have that one instead. But yeah, there's I like the way they do the upgrade in this one, to where it's just like, you get a piece, you get a little cogwheel, go ahead and put it where you want to put it in. And I like that a lot.
I actually love the opening level of this when BJ's in the wheelchair and like moving through the hallways, like rolling around,
tank controls,
how to get around. Yeah, it was great. So I'm excited to continue this on. Now I have a free weekend because my significant other's out of town, so I'm gonna get to play. So I'll probably continue on this, if not tonight, tomorrow. I'm very excited to dive back in because I'm hoping and assuming this like revised retro future where we already have like crazy Nazi tech, but now going to Roswell is gonna get bonkers, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah. So, no, go ahead, Christian. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've obviously played this before. I'm the only one that has. So I don't want to. I accidentally. Alex is being very sweet to me right now, and I really appreciate it. But I did say something in the hopes that I was like, I know how Alex tends to play games, and so I assumed that there was a pretty high likelihood that he would not see something that's bouncing around in the background around here when I made my comment. And about 2 hours later, he was like, well, I think I know where this is going. And I'm like, okay, well, I feel bad now. But the thing is, I still think the way that it happens will still surprise you. So it's fine. Sure. But
I have a feeling it's probably the same thing I was spoiled on as well. So
I actually find that your comment
got spoiled
to be,
on that?
Oh, we'll talk about what it is. I'm not going to talk about it in front of Alex. I'll text you here in a minute once we get done with the recording, so we can maybe talk about it together. Okay. I was spoiled on something because I watched because you guys told me that it's not Digital Foundry, it's No Clip documentary is pretty good on separating the games. They said something in an interview that spoiled a piece of this game for me, so it's about but
I'm a little offended by the comment. I know how Alex plays video games.
Which means skipping forward, maybe?
That's very rude. Very rude.
No, not like that. I mean, you do. But I would say that you typically, unless I think the games that you pick, for instance, like when you do notes, you are very methodical. You make sure to get everything, which is fair. But there are plenty of things, like, for instance, you missed the crocodile. Now, that's not your fault, but I'm just saying that, like, sometimes you are just, you're on a mission. You're trying to get from A to B, and you are going to get from A to B. I think the problem that you ran into in the submarine, which is why you saw what you saw, was that, because I heard you complain about it when I was watching you beforehand, which was like, this motherfucker's big, and I keep getting lost, and I don't know where the fuck I'm going, and you just ended up bumping into the thing. But, no, this game... Man, it's a special game. I think I liked the first one a lot. It obviously has some of its, like some issues that we talked about during the playthrough, but nothing obviously major. But this one is just like, I think it's the perfect example, for the most part. There are things that I'll talk about towards the end, from just a strictly design perspective, not anything else. That, like, I think it falters on a little bit, but for the most part, this is what I think the perfect example of a sequel is, which is a group of devs who know exactly what was a slam dunk in their first game and thinking, okay, now all we have to do is just perfect and refine what we made great, and then give people more of that with a better, everything else around it, and we're going to be good to go. And so far, it, even the very bad opening and everything else that comes along with it, like Wolfenstein 1, I think, spends a lot of that game, going through and trying to explain to you, like, how much it's not fucking around.
Sure.
And then this one is almost like, it's like after, like a burglar breaks in your home and you're like, okay, I've learned my lesson. I've got a new lock on my door. I'm ready to go. And then the next time someone fucking like shoots a gun through your window and you're like, I forgot about the other point of entry in my house. Apparently there is another way to get to me here. And this feels like this game, they just was like, oh, we're coming in, we're going hot, and we're, you know, I mean, you know, even like obviously there's a different level between animal and people stuff. Like we've talked, like it's, you know, rough, but like that section with Caroline is brutal. Like,
yeah,
it's very
it is.
Like it is really uncool. It's really uncool.
Very sudden too.
I didn't think it was going to happen because like it was an axe sort of thing, and like we're going to cut off her head. And you're like, all right. I mean, like that's a lot. There's a lot of physical strength required, and like honestly, it's not really something I've ever seen in a video game before either. And and they just do it, and then you like, and then with the you know the thing that happens after, and like there, and I think Sigrid actually is one of my favorite characters in this. I think it's so fun. Like I don't think you mentioned it, Preston, but when she first gets introduced, and everybody on the boat is like, "What the fuck is she? You know, who is this?" And they're like, she just is like, hello, like just like one hand.
Yeah, is that Nazi?
Like,
she's like, I'm not a Nazi anymore. I'm like, okay.
Like, yeah. Right. It's like very funny. I can't wait, man. We've got some stuff ahead of us. I think I'll just maintain the same thing I had about the first game. I say now, and it's honestly why I think that I don't even know.
It's gonna be our first 5.5.
It'll be very interesting to see.
5?
No, but I'll say it'll be very interesting to see if they ever get around to
third.
Doing the final game in this series is what they've said, but immediately the way that this game takes, especially how it handles its, let's say, crystal clear political messaging that it does, it would not be made today. There is not a single chance that Microsoft would have greenlit this game. I don't think a single chance in hell it would have been made today, especially with the way that we live today, or what we're living through today, I should say.
Lost some shareholders if they did that today.
Yeah, and I think every day that goes by, I am more worried that whatever the final game in this trilogy that it's supposed to be will be compromised in some way.
Yeah.
Because of, you know, the powers that be.
Let's hope not.
But we'll see. I don't know.
We'll see.
But yeah, every time that I see something happen on the screen, I go, you wouldn't do that.
I have a feeling Machine Games would not make a third one if they were not allowed to do what they want with it.
Nope. I agree, but I think
maybe that's why we haven't seen it. Why? Well, maybe, who knows?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, to be fair, they did make Indiana Jones. They probably got a lot of money to do that. But yeah,
they had the same amount of money they had a guy to do anything. They're owned by Microsoft, right? Like
but Microsoft's probably like, we want you to make the Indiana Jones game, so you're going to stop what you're doing now and make the Indiana Jones game.
Well, that's what I mean. Is I think that Microsoft was probably
stop.
I think
at all.
Yeah,
we'll see.
That's what I think. We'll see.
Preston, one thing that Christian and I were debating on, maybe you know the answer to: are there beyond the video game you can find on the ship? Are there old Wolfenstein levels when you go to sleep?
So I did not find the video game on the ship. Did not.
Okay, there in the canteen. There's a console, like a.
Okay,
yeah.
So I tried every bed I came across. I have not stumbled upon any of those. Okay. And the playthrough I watched last time, he did go to all of those. So I have a feeling that you know, go to bed, have the nightmare or the dream or whatever, in old Wolfenstein. I do not think that's in this game.
If you go to the bar downstairs, it literally there's just a cabinet and it says Wolfenstein 3D on it. And gotcha. I didn't know if that was.
That's probably where they put it then, if I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
No longer the bed, but you go to the card. But yeah, it's part 1. Part 2. So Christian, you can tell me if I'm going too far with this one, but I think we can do 4 more acts. So like, this one was Eva's Hammer and the Ostmerger. Then we did 4 chapters in Manhattan. We're gonna have 2 chapters in Roswell. We'll be going to another location, and then we'll stop after we finish our return to Manhattan. Then after that Manhattan, we'll be going to New Orleans. So we're going to stop once we reach New Orleans. So we'll have 2 parts of Roswell, 1 part at a farmhouse and 1 part in Manhattan. Then we stop after we finish that once we reach the new main section, which will be New Orleans. So I think that in itself is going to be its own part, New Orleans, because it's a very big section.
Yes.
And then after that, there's a whole
Yes.
one other place, pretty much, that we're gonna do the final part.
This is crazy too, and I'm trying to balance it in my head. Like, we've spent so much time in Europe in these two games, and you have like the castles or the old like European like just
Going to south now, brother. I don't know if you saw at the very beginning of that part we stopped at. There's some hoods in that fucking street.
Yeah, it's very weird. Like, you have the Roswell, like you have these like weird New Mexico streets, so they're like kind of colorful, and then in New York was the big buildings, albeit twisted and stuff. So it's just weird to see like this Castle Wolfenstein where he spent the whole last DLC now to like America. So I'm excited to go through it. Yeah, cool. Awesome, everybody. Well, hey, check it. If you're not playing these games, you should play these along with us always. But like, this is also a fun one. So play along. Let us know if you've played it, what you think, and then of course don't forget to check out Preston on Star Wars Sundays, and then we'll have new episodes for you next week, everybody. And with that, Preston, you know what to do.
Auf Wiedersehen. Thank you for listening to another episode of The Testing Room. To catch up on past episodes or to check out the newest ones when they drop, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcast. If watching is more your thing, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/@thetestingroom, or watch us live on twitch.tv/testingroomlive. To leave comments or ask questions, you can follow us on Instagram @testingroompod, leave a comment on YouTube, or send them in to testingroompod@gmail.com. See you next time.